We are Movie Menu Reviews. Say my name.
Gemini Man!
On today's menu, we'll be reviewing El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie, and Gemini Man.
We harmonized.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
We're a duet.
Really, was it that good, guys?
It was fantastic. It was the best singing movie venue has ever had.
We got to take it to the road.
Take it somewhere, please. Far away from here. Hey, welcome back. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Menu Reviews, a weekly movie news and reviews podcast live on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
If you're watching us on Facebook, thank you so much. Or if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher, SoundCloud. I remember which platforms we're on.
So many of them.
We're on so many of them, so there's no excuse for you not listening to us. We thank you as well. Joining me today, we have the regular people that was always here. I was about to say special guest, but we don't have a special guest.
We're special.
You should have introduced yourself as a special guest.
I'm always a special guest when I'm here. But someone who is here because he has to be is my co-host Mike Stan.
Hey! I know. By law, I have.
He's taking a blood pact.
By common law, should we all not be married at this point? So we live we spend so much time together.
We are now considered living mates. And so it's like it's a polygamy. No, okay.
Wow.
I guess our other life mate is co-host and senior panelist Z.
Hey.
And you want to go ahead and give shout out to the man behind the camera, Eric.
Yay!
Which I'm realizing I don't know your last name.
He's that one guy.
He has no last name. His name is just Eric.
His YouTube channel is that one guy from YouTube on YouTube.
Is that really his YouTube channel?
It really is.
That one guy.
It'll be TOG. That one guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm serious.
All right.
I know you're serious, Mike. I'm still saying wow.
Yeah, we're still shocked by this.
Why are you shocked? I don't understand.
We're not. We have some movie news to cover. Actually, not really.
Not really.
So this past weekend in Los Angeles, I had the great opportunity to go to Los Angeles Comic-Con, and I went to see some great panels. I also, on the main stage show, they had a panel that I went to was Zombieland 2, Double Tap, which was great because they had the cast there, the director there, the writers there. They had Rosario Dawson, Jesse Eisenberg, and the rest of the cast as well. Unfortunately, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin weren't there, but the rest of the cast were.
Gotcha.
The writers are the same writers of Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, did see
which
that.
is great. And they gave some lucky fans early screening tickets to see it.
Were you
one of them? But it's okay because I was not trying to be one of them because
yes, you were.
I had a press badge, and I think it would have been like really shady if I got one of them. So want to say thank you to Los Angeles Comic-Con for allowing us to go again this year. Always have a fun time. The panels are great. And I got to sit down with one of the co-founders of Legion M, Paul Scanlon, and want to play just a quick clip of the interview for that right now.
Right after these commercial breaks.
Welcome, ladies and gents. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Menu Podcast. I am live here at Los Angeles Comic-Con. I am joined by one of the founders of Legion M, Paul Scanlon. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining me in this interview. For our listeners, can you please describe what Legion M is?
Sure. Legion M is the world's first fan-owned entertainment company. And what that means is we're literally owned by entertainment fans. It's like everyone here at LA Comic-Con banded together to co-own our own entertainment company.
And talk about how did that get started?
So my co-founder, Jeff Anderson, and I, we started this company about 3 years ago. And really the whole idea was we felt like an entertainment company should be owned by fans. And, you know, we oftentimes find ourselves wondering not so much like how things are, but like how should they be? And, you know, we're serial entrepreneurs. This is our third company together. We've known each other for 20 years now. And this just felt like something that should exist. And when we kind of looked into it, we realized that it wasn't until 2016 when we launched this company that it was actually possible to do. And what I mean by that is that the
full interview will be out very shortly. But thank you again, Paul Scanlon from Legion M, and everyone there for allowing us to interview you. Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con will be back next year, the last weekend of September, and we highly recommend you guys go.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So how was it without Stan Lee there?
It was
his first. It was right because this was the first Comic-Con without him.
It was. They had a lot of tributes to him.
Okay.
Rob Liefeld, who created Deadpool did a whole panel dedicated to Stan Lee.
Oh, okay.
There was a memorial wall where you could go and write your memories, which I did, which you can find in our Instagram. If you go over to our Instagram page, you'll see a lot of the cosplays.
People were people were cosplaying as Stan Lee.
No.
Oh, okay.
But you can see all the pictures that I took of all cosplayers, as well as the wall of remembrance for Stan Lee.
That's great.
Which was awesome and heartbreaking at the same time. And like they had a picture of Stan Lee at the bottom, and this like little kid. I want to say like he must have been like 5 or 6. Saw it and said Stan Lee, and so that just shows how much influence Stan Lee had in this world.
Yeah,
and
he started that LA Comic-Con, so that was his name, his baby, right?
Well, it was Kamikaze, and then they took it over to
Stan Lee's Comic-Con, yeah.
So it was great. Highly recommend it, and for the nerds.
For the nerds.
So let's go ahead and get into our movie review for El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie.
Movie menu. Even I got confused. What we're reviewing, I'm like, oh shoot, what are we reviewing? Are we live?
We are. El Camino, Breaking Bad movie, directed and written by Vince Gilligan, starring Aaron Paul, Jesse Plemons, Robert Forster, rest in peace, Robert Forster, and Scott MacArthur. Here's the plot. A sequel of sorts to Breaking Bad following Jesse Pinkman after the events captured in the finale of Breaking Bad. Jesse is now on the run as a massive police manhunt for him is in operation. He has a plan to get out of Albuquerque, but he'll need heaps of cash to do it. Luckily, he knows where some may be stashed. All right, guys, we have all seen this film, so depending on your spoiler-free review, we shall decide this movie is a dine-in, which, again, this is streaming.
It's streaming, yeah.
So we say, like, dine in, like, watch it as soon as possible. Take out, no rush to watch it. Maybe watch it within the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Or leftovers. Just avoid this film completely. Or no, never mind. No points will be earned since we don't have any special guests. So let's go ahead and rate this film. Z, as a Breaking Bad fanatic you are.
Yeah.
You can go first.
It's funny because I've watched Breaking Bad, I think the full seasons three times in completion. The final episode of Breaking Bad is probably one of my favorite on-screen depictions of consequences to character. But this movie for me is a takeout. You don't have to rush out to watch it. It's just okay.
Wow. Okay.
Mike?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. So for me, it's a takeout as well.
Yeah.
But keeping in mind that with my perspective, I've never seen a Breaking Bad episode ever. Never. So this is like completely out of context, and I actually really enjoyed the film, but I felt like I was like, I wonder how much more impactful this movie would be if I would have actually seen the
That's why I
So-
actually went with takeout, because I think I was watching it from a perspective of, if I didn't know the story, does any of this make sense? And it really wouldn't, because Breaking Bad, the formula that Vince Gilligan always created was like this, like you build on little things happen in the episodes, in episode 1, and it pays off in like episode 25.
So well, Vince Gilligan, he did also like he'll show you like the future or whatever, and then in the beginning of the episode, and then you see how they got there.
I really like that. I like that nonlinear form of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think it's super exciting. It's like, oh, where are we now? Oh, got it. Okay.
Though I love how you guys are already giving your review and I still haven't even said mine.
Well, you got to be assertive. What's
that's what I'm doing right now. I'm being assertive.
It's your fault we're talking over you, Dan.
Stopping you.
Just kidding. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm actually going to say dine in.
Really? Okay.
I think you should really go watch it as soon as you can. I mean, it was a busy weekend for me, so I had to watch it at midnight during some time. But I enjoyed it. I'm also a huge Breaking Bad fan. I watched the series, and I love the series finale. But a part of me was like, what the hell did happen to Jesse? Because you followed Jesse's story for however it was 5 seasons. Basically.
Agreed. Yeah.
And the 5th season was broken up in half, so there was 6 years, I think, of your life that you follow these characters. And I am actually happy with the outcome of the film. I enjoyed it. And I liked the suspense that was built. And again, like Mike mentioned, the non-linear story within the film. I also enjoyed that. It was like a nice callback to the show. But also, for me, it stood on its own as well. Well,
and I think that, you just described exactly what my problem was with this movie, was that it just felt like an extended episode. It was very television. Now, I wouldn't say that visually it was televisual. I think cinematically it had great visuals. They really utilize, I think they shot this on film stock, so they shot this at least in wider shots than they did for the TV show. So it did look great, and I wish I saw it in the big theater because I think the way that they showed the landscapes was beautiful. However, a lot of this episode was just
real quick interject. You told me to be assertive. I'm being assertive.
Well, yeah.
I would argue the fact that all of the Breaking Bad episodes were cinematic in a sense.
They were, but not as visually stunning as they were in this episode. This episode, I think Vince Gilligan has shown growth in his directing style, because if you watch early Breaking Bad where he directs, they show landscapes, but they don't show them as vast as they did in this episode. So I think that's what I mean, is that it does feel a little bit bigger.
It's a movie.
Except that's my thing. That's what I was trying to go to, where this movie actually feels like an extended episode.
Yeah.
Now, am I shitting on the story at all? No, I think that this is a brilliant story. I also, from a Breaking Bad perspective, was always wondering what happened to Jesse. But I think that ultimately this movie wouldn't make as much sense had you not watched the first 5 seasons, which is why, Mike, did this movie make much sense as to why he was running away? You want to get into plot, I guess? Yeah, I want to get into plot. Well, yeah. That's my issue, is that I feel like it was more of an extended episode, that you needed to know what happened before.
So it did feel like an extended episode to a series, but it did also feel like a pretty damn good episode.
Yeah. Oh well, it was Breaking Bad's really amazing. Yeah, you should watch it.
But there are moments where a character is introduced, and I could feel that it's that character, you remember this character? Yeah. And I was like I don't know who that is. and then
so there's many of those moments.
And then there's a flashback to this other character, and it's like, nope, don't know him either. And then so there's but I kept thinking man, if I would have seen the series, this would have been way more of a payoff.
Yeah.
So I imagine for you guys, I could imagine it being super satisfying, as Dan had mentioned before, it tying up a lot of loose ends for Jesse Pinkman's character.
Yeah.
So where I'm assuming you have no idea what happens to this character in the series afterwards, and also I imagine also tying up loose ends with the side characters as well, which I don't know who's recurring or if there are any new characters in the series in this film. I mean, I'm sorry.
Scott MacArthur is the newest. His character and the ginger character are also the newer.
Those were new.
Yeah.
Well, they had recalled him back from a previous episode, right?
They were never in the series. Yeah, and again, I did rewatch again. I think this is now 4th time watching the final season of Breaking Bad, so that I can see whether or not they were somewhere interjected in there, but they weren't. These were new characters, and they were amazing characters. I think that Scott MacArthur did such a good job of kind of really being this gray character. He wasn't good, he wasn't bad. I mean, he was bad to to an extent, but I didn't really feel like he was evil like the Nazi cartel was from the TV series. And so I just thought that this character was like mildly bad, but Jesse has to get somewhere, and you need to get through this guy in order for you to get there. And I thought he played such a great. I think, Mike, what did you call this again? It's a neo-Western?
Oh, yeah. So in Wikipedia, it's listed as a neo-Western crime thriller.
And this
crime film.
And this movie really did feel that way. And I thought that was brilliant. We haven't seen a modern Western.
Other than like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, maybe. Even that was barely even at that, because that was still drawing on a lot of the Western elements.
Hell and High Water was a pretty good.
Good call. Yeah, and I would say that Logan also had some neo-Western elements to it. Obviously, Dan would disagree, but it did.
No, it did.
Yeah. So, but that's what I mean. It's like, and I think it did a really good job of showing us our favorite characters in a different theme, but you're still extending. You needed to watch the original 5 seasons to actually really get the satisfaction. And Dan, I think you would agree with me, the satisfaction of knowing what happens to Jesse, because we got left high and dry. When you see him leaving in season 5, you're happy and ecstatic, but I was wondering what the hell happens to Jesse this time.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
because we spend this time you see what happens with Walt. And but Jesse is like, oh crap, because the last season it was really harsh on Jesse.
Oh, it was so bad. I mean, so Mike, just so you get a very quick 5-second understanding of Jesse. Sure. Jesse is a drug dealer who knows how to make meth. He meets up with Walt. Walt goes, I'm gonna make it better, so he makes the better meth. Jesse learns from him how to create the blue meth that everyone wants, and then they enslave him. The Nazi cartel enslaves him, kills the woman he loves.
So that's who they are.
And so that's how he gets stuck in this one situation. Sorry, spoilers for Breaking Bad, but honestly, we've passed that point. And so you get to see Jesse after he's been tortured, after he's been enslaved, after he's seen the woman that he loved, broken like a dog.
PTSD.
And you see it so well. And I think that the actor in this, Aaron Paul, does such an amazing job of displaying PTSD. We talked about Joker last week, and now we're seeing a film that's really depicting PTSD pretty damn well.
Agreed.
And I think that was an amazing feat for Aaron Paul to do, especially since it's been 6 years since the TV show was originally ended.
Maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So I think that this it was good to see the character growth, but as Mike, you said, you did lose yourself if you didn't know a lot of what was going on.
I still enjoyed it, though. Even if you've never seen Breaking Bad, I think this film will make you want to see the show.
The only way I would agree with you guys on it being takeout is if it's because you take the moment to watch all of Breaking Bad before and then you watch this movie. But since I've already seen it all, I consider it dine-in. But like Mike, highly recommend that you go watch the show.
Yeah, no, it's a great show.
Well, yeah, and
the film definitely sparked my interest to be like, I would love to hear the backstory of all these characters, especially
science,
Jesse.
bitch.
Yeah. Well, then I think that the movie did its job. I think honestly, this is a movie which was in the same way. The reason why they adapt books is to make people read the books. So that's why they make it into films. And I think that if for you it inspired you to want to watch, then then it's done its job, because I think that's what Vince Gilligan's great at. He's good at hooking people. He's good at showing people who have very terrible scenarios. And honestly, season 1 of Breaking Bad, I think you needed to watch this to really want to engage in season 1 of Breaking Bad. Season 1 of Breaking Bad is really sluggish. It takes a really sweet time to get there.
It does, but the season finale
when it gets
season
there,
1 is amazing.
Yeah, all right.
It took me a while, and then by the time you get the season finale of season 1, it's like, oh shit,
he's breaking. Awesome. Yeah, he's like, oh, he's Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
he really is Breaking Bad. Yeah.
All right, it's pretty awesome. Okay, so.
All right, so dine in. Got it. No. Got it. I'm just kidding. How was the what then?
How was the rest of the cast? So you talked about Aaron Paul, which he did a fantastic job. How was Jesse Plemons to you as Meth Damon, as they used to call him back in the day?
Wow, I completely forgot about Meth Damon because he looked like Matt Damon, except that he looked like he was on meth. He did pretty well. He looks. He did the part. The interesting part about his character, Todd, is that he's this sociopath who you can't again really connect with, and I think it was a very interesting story that they tell of his. I didn't need to know what happens with him and his housekeeper, but it really did shine a moment on I think he's so fucking disconnected.
I think that, I mean, not to get into spoilers, but I think that was to show the humanity of Jesse.
Yes, agreed.
But we have comments?
Go for it.
I was like, okay.
There are words?
Yeah, so Sean Aguirre says, hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
He has never seen the Breaking Bad show.
Yeah.
But he says it's really tough to portray mental illness, and he likes my shirt. Thanks. Yeah, I did get it at LA Comic Con.
What do you got? Wait, what shirt is it?
It's Spider-Man.
Oh, it's a nice shirt. Yeah.
So, thank you. So
you just wanted to read that comment?
Yes.
Oh, of course you did.
Not just that comment. I read the other ones too. So let's go ahead and give our final thoughts about this because it seems like we're going to get into spoilers if we don't move on from this topic.
Yeah, for sure.
Susie?
This is a takeout for me, a dine-in if you're a hardcore Breaking Bad fan. I think that if you're very curious as to what happens to Jesse post Felina, this actually does kind of wrap that story up.
Right.
Really,
that is the last. That was the episode.
It's an anagram of finale, and it's also a title of a song.
Well, I know it's also FE. It's
yes.
on the. Oh, damn it!
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. So I think that we really get this finale that we deserved, and I really hope they don't go back to it. I think that Vince Gilligan is a smart dude. I really do hope he creates something new and something that makes us want to break bad again. Yeah.
Mike, final thoughts?
It makes me want to watch the series.
Good.
That's the ultimate job, and I think it was a nice closure to the Breaking Bad. Hopefully, again, they don't revisit it. Hopefully, there's no spinoff. They're already doing Better Call Saul, so hopefully that is the only thing that they're doing, and because this storyline to me was completed. Yeah,
I think so too. I don't need any more than this. This actually felt like to me Toy Story 4. Where it's a nice epilogue, just like Mike's arm breaking over there.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, here for a quick minute.
So this is basically the Toy Story 4 and this is Eric on camera, guys.
Yes.
Thank you, Eric.
I'm actually just anticipating watching it over here on Dan's screen because I want to see a break and fall on Mike. Anyways,
definitely go watch it.
It just happened.
Definitely go watch it. We highly recommend it. And if you have Netflix, might as well just watch. And Breaking Bad is on Netflix, so you can binge watch all of the episodes, and then really watch this. Mike, if I know you're busy at the moment,
I can still talk.
If you did watch all of Breaking Bad, would you go back and watch this movie again?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think this movie works on so many.
Everything is
my equipment's breaking bad.
Everything is breaking. Everything is breaking when things have gone bad.
This is live,
and we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Save the day.
We could barely see you, by the way. But yeah. Good job. Good framing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
No.
I'm at this point, I actually held it pretty well until the last minute.
You did.
I was like, yeah. I'm gonna wait till. Thank you, Eric.
So for those who can't see this, the microphone arm where his microphone is being held snapped off and just smacked him in the face.
It did. It punched me in.
Punched him
and knocked some teeth out.
And punched him in the mic.
I don't know anything. And it kept punching me and.
Yeah. It wants the blue meth, Mike.
Yeah. I don't got it. I don't got nothing.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next review. Which will be Gemini Man.
Mm-hmm.
Movie menu. Now, I have seen this film, so I am going to toss the hosting duties over to Z.
Thank you. Yay. All right, here we go. So the movie we're reviewing is Gemini Man, directed by Ang Lee, written by David Benioff of Game of Thrones fame, and Billy Ray, not the Western singer. That's the guy's. That's the guy, right? Yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus. That's the name of the guy.
Gotcha. So close. Starring Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Clive Owen, and Benedict Wong. And just because Dan asked me to, Will Smith. Several times Will Smith. There you go. Here's the plot. An over-the-hill hitman faces off against a younger clone.
Is that really the plot?
That's IMDb, guys.
That's very funny.
It's over the hill.
It's a really
It's almost like a little over the hill hitman.
Yeah,
that should have been the title of the movie.
Over the hill hitman. Yeah.
That sounds like a Mr. Magoo movie.
I wish I had made that. And you know what? That just inspires me. We should write our own IMDb's.
That was very
just
funny.
making them more simplistic. Like Batman's like what is a rich man beating up on mentally ill individuals. So anyways, an over-the-hill hitman faces against a younger clone of himself. So depending on your spoiler review, I will decide if this movie is worth to dine in, watch in theaters to take out, watch it at home, or leftovers. Just stop. I don't know. What do you guys think? Clone yourself and force a clone to watch this movie?
Be killed by your clone.
Be killed. I feel like that's a mercy in comparison to this film. All right. So nobody wins a point. So we're just going to forego all that. So guys, please rate this film. Mike, since you were so eager.
Okay. I've thought about this.
Oh no. Oh boy.
Oh, because the film itself.
Wait, can I just ask which format did you watch it in?
3D.
Okay.
You watched it in 3D?
Yes.
Why?
It was an amazing experience in 3D.
Wow.
So the film itself,
it's a higher rate.
120. Yeah, it looks like you're like it looks real.
It looks live. It looks like you're watching it out of a window.
Did
okay.
you?
I watched it in 3D as well.
Yeah. So the film itself is a takeout, but for the experience, I highly recommend Dine in 3D.
So you're asking people to spend
to see it in
$25.
It's not 25. It was like 16.
No, but
if you have A-list, it's
okay. Spend $35.
Spend $100. Just buy an AMC A-list and you can watch a bunch of movies for a month.
So subscribe to something that people can't afford to watch a shitty movie. Is that what you're asking?
It's the same cost of one admission for 3D.
No,
it's not.
It is. It's like $25.
It's not a shitty movie. For me, it's actually a dine-in.
It's dine-in either way.
Both experience and the movie itself.
Okay.
I mean, I will say it's not a perfect movie, obviously.
Yeah, it's a terrible one.
yeah. It's got 38%. No, 24% on Rotten Tomatoes. And you're saying that Dan, you're saying it's a dine-in.
The action is
no.
awesome.
Oh, sorry. We're not even. Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Mike hasn't finished giving his rating.
Oh, dine in. Watch it in 3D.
Okay.
The 120 frames per second.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. It's totally a dine-in. Will Smith and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Really,
I thought you were going to say Will Smith and Will Smith.
And Will Smith they're great.
Now, I'm going to ask you the hard question, and I'm sure this is a question that Chris Velasco wants to know. Do they end up making out and having sex with each other?
That's a spoiler?
Okay, fair enough. All right.
And this is spoiler free.
That's like narcissist man instead of Gemini.
I know. I mean, if it fits. Okay, so wow, both of you guys are dine in.
Yes,
I'm gonna intentionally not give you the points on this one, but
all right, well, we're not getting points.
We don't get points anyway.
That's fair. Okay.
The selling, I know it's a tough sell because you already hate 3D.
Yes,
but this is a step up.
Well, this is Ang Lee doing Ang Lee stuff, which Ang Lee his films, whether the story or not is great, his visuals are pretty much amazing.
Sure, okay.
Life of Pi, for example,
which was a good story with good visuals.
With good visuals.
Yes, okay.
So with this film, he also he included the effects. And the story itself wasn't that great, but it was still enjoyable to watch.
We'll get to the story. Don't just slow down with the story. But yes, so you're saying the visual, so the directing wise, it's worth the watch.
I think it's for me. It was specifically for that 3D experience. I didn't even know, but it stood out so much. Like the first 10 seconds of the film, it was jarring because it looked so real. It looked almost like 3D hologramish to me. I was like. It looks real.
Relax, Mike. It wasn't that great. It looked lifelike.
Could you reach out and touch Will Smith?
But not like it was I was having a conversation with Will Smith. It looked for me. It looked like I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing these people.
You mean so it looked like real life is what you're saying? Because that's exactly what.
Yeah, but not that it's coming towards me. I'm watching from afar, but it looks like I'm looking out a window.
It looked real though, right?
Yeah.
It looked like there was so much frames per second that it looks like real life. Like it doesn't look like
a movie.
It looks like you're like, oh, I'm meeting Will Smith in real life. That's what it feels like when you watch it.
Have you seen the new iPhone camera, like the video style of that?
No, why would I, Dan? I'm not made out of $1 million.
Because it looks great, and this film the technology they used in this film was very.
So
very
what you're saying
advanced.
is I can get the same experience if I strapped on an iPhone camera to my face and just watch the world through that?
Yeah.
Okay, I would rather do that than watch this movie.
You have to see this for the 3D experience. There's rom-com in it as well. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Is the rom-com between Will Smith and Will Smith?
Spoiler again! It's a spoiler. It's a spoiler. We can't say
I will
anything.
watch it.
I'm just kidding. There's no rom-com.
Okay, all right. So Ang Lee is known for directing action. How are the visuals in this? How he directs really good action. I mean, Ang Lee comes from like old school cinema. This is before I guess you could say he started like the choppiness, but he's really good at directing action. How does the action look in this movie, especially in the 3D blah thing?
It looks great. The first there's one action scene in the beginning where it was jarring to see the fight because it just looked. Like, I don't know, it just looked too real, I guess, which is funny. But it was pretty badass. It was Mary Elizabeth Winstead's fight scene.
Okay.
That would look great. But the rest, as the film, as you got used to it, the action is amazing. The fights are great. And even like towards the end, there was this one fight scene with like this, I don't know, I don't want to say anything, but it was amazing. Do you agree?
Yeah. The action sequences, they definitely deliver for sure. And like, yeah,
there's like parkour going on and like running away using motorcycles. It was like they really stuck with it.
Okay, that's another selling point. It's like Fast and the Furious.
No. So this movie honestly reminded me of Born Identity. It's like almost the same plot line.
And you're talking about in terms of like action.
No. Even like the storyline where this guy who has a dark past, whatever, and then he runs into this female. Like it's almost like the same counter battle. You could watch the Born Identity and then watch this movie afterwards, and it'd be like a similar feel.
Or you can just watch the next Bourne movie that's way better.
You haven't seen this movie. You can't even see it. It's way better.
Well, Paul Greengrass is an amazing director.
Paul Greengrass didn't direct the first one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He directed the second one. I would rather watch that one.
I just got Christopher Anthony Velasco's joke because Brokeback Mountain, right?
Sure. Also, Chris didn't put me up to asking this question. I just figured he would want me to.
I just made the connection right now. I'm sorry. It's super delayed.
They can't quit each other. Yeah.
But the action sequences are. The action sequences are
because fantastic. Ang Lee also directed Brokeback Mountain. For those who don't know,
yes.
Okay, there it is.
Thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Sorry, super high end humor there for you guys.
So the action sequences are fantastic. I wouldn't say the plot line or the characters are as developed. Maybe that's not
okay.
Fair
so
to
let's
say,
talk about
there's only one character that's not developed, and you could take it or leave him, even though he's like the big bad, but not.
The action sequence delivers, and that's kind of like why most people are going to come see this anyway. So
yeah,
so it delivers, and why you're coming to watch it to begin with.
So this movie was placed on I believe it may have been the blacklist because this movie was supposed to be directed and done in the 90s initially. People's complaint about this movie is that it feels like a very 90s movie. Nicolas Cage, interestingly enough, was supposed to be the lead in this movie.
Thank God.
Which I feel like would have made this movie so much better. But okay, so does this movie feel antiquated? Does it feel like you're watching a 90s movie but with the 2020 CGI?
It does. Yeah.
I mean,
it does.
Like say for example, The Predator, right? I watched Predator against Mike's recommendation.
Did I recommend it?
No, you didn't. You said it was not a good movie. But I watched it just to verify. And it was like, sure enough, it felt like a very like 90s movie, but with the packaging of a 2020.
I would say like an early 2000s movie.
Early 2000s. Okay.
Yeah, like again, this movie had a feel of Born Identity to me.
Okay.
Very much the first film.
Who directed Bourne? You have it pulled up. Who directed Bourne? The first one?
It was like the same person who did Doug Liman.
Doug Liman, that's right. Okay. But yeah, so it does feel like it's a 90s storyline, right? I mean, literally just by the description of like an over-the-hill hitman.
That's a terrible...
right? So immediately you're like, all right, so it's an old dude, cool, faces off with a younger version of the clone of themselves. Okay, so great. So I can even describe to you the plot and the whole story without actually like going into it. Is it as predictable as it sounds? Like, I assume there are very little twists in this movie. You know where it goes from point A from point B. The trailer gives away a whole lot.
But this movie is not about.
It's not about that. You're saying.
No, it's not about the twist is given in the trailer. There's no twist.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
This is just
the action.
It's a hunting game basically, and it's two very clever, very good at their jobs assassins basically. And
because they're the same person, Dan.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, how are they outsmart each other? And that is fun to watch when you think one has the upper hand, and then the other one has it, and then it's fun to watch.
This sounds very masturbatorial. Like, it just feels a little bit too much like.
Does it remind you of Mission Impossible, Dan?
A little bit.
How? In what way?
I
like the Mission Impossible stories.
Yeah, I know
the first one.
Yeah.
Or which one?
Shoot, I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry.
I love spy movies. Spy movies
sure.
are my jam, as people would say. And so that's why I enjoyed this movie, because I think spy movies are great.
And so you feel as a spy movie, it works.
Right. And there is so much, though, in this world that I wish we would dive into more. Like, another thing is, this movie is like 10 minutes too long. There was like a last epilogue scene that could have been cut out, and the fact that they have it in there, it makes the CGI look worse. Like, if they spent all the time in the beginning and then they forgot about the ending.
That is, I totally 100% agree.
It's awful.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
I was like blown away, and then in the end of the film, I'm like, what is happening?
But it's just
wait, are we talking about Matrix 3, like level bad, where Matrix 3 has
when Neo is like
Neo being attacked by all the agent Smiths, and it looks really bad. Like, if you watch it now, it looks just atrocious. You're talking about that?
It's pretty atrocious.
It was it's like
it's like, why did they include this in the movie? It should have ended in another part.
It's hard to talk about it because it spoils the whole
it's
film.
Literally the end of the film.
It's literally spoiler, but it's just all I can say is the character no longer looks human. That's all I can say, and unintentionally.
And so it's Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks like, because the film it looked good, it looked decent, it looked good, it looked decent, it looked good. And then this one was like, oh my god, it looks awful. It looked awful.
I think.
What do you think the reason is for that? Like, is it
they probably ran out of time, and
they probably spent so much time working the whole film, and that they just didn't have time to finish.
No, because the visuals are usually separated by art houses. So was it like taking place like in the sun? Usually that's what ruins CGI.
You're right.
It was during the day.
The daytime CGI is really hard. I mean, if you guys remember watching the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the live action version of that, it's the daytime CGI looks worse off than. That's why Game of Thrones works really well, because Game of Thrones, a lot of the dragons, they showed them at night. So when they show them during daytime, they look really bad.
But because there's other daytime scenes earlier in the film where it still looks great, so it's hard to say.
Actually, there was like a whole fight sequence happened during the day, that looked great.
Which is
but face swapping somebody is very easy to do when you're.
But I think the thing is, no, I can't say. I can't
say.
I was about to say something.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
How was the rest of the actors in this movie? You have Will Smith, who we've grown to mistrust. I feel like I mistrust Will Smith, just because he's kind of not chosen anything good.
I disagree. I think some of his movies have been pretty good, or at least he's giving some good performances. Like, I really like Concussion.
Well, sure, but that's like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he hasn't done much of it. The last one was, I think,
Suicide Squad. Yeah,
which he was great in. Yeah. And it was funny because I was feeling like this is like a sequel to that. This is like Deadshot. I don't know if you felt like that.
It's an over-the-hill hitman.
Yeah, I agree with Dan.
I was like, this is what happened after Suicide Squad. Okay,
that's totally. I totally agree with Dan. Yeah, that is Suicide Squad Part 3 years. but
or it's a spin-off movie.
Yeah. Like, totally. Yeah, if they would have changed out the name, I would have been like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
How's Mew in this movie? Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
She's great. She's a badass.
Yeah, she's awesome and everything.
Yeah, she was really good. What do you think?
She was great, but I had issues with the plot. Or not only the
her
plot, but I mean the script writing. It feels like the script needed way more passes. Like everyone is just kind of going along with everybody else. It just kind of like
Mike, it's life or death.
No, it's like in the very beginning of the film, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character just goes along with Will Smith. She doesn't know him that well. Like other circumstances change, and she kind of has to at some point. But even before then, she's already kind of like going along with it. So it's kind of like the lack of like conflict within it seems like unrealistic to me. But that's not even the point of the film, though. Like, so it really doesn't matter.
I disagree because I felt like they created that bond in the beginning that she was able to trust him.
I
right
disagree,
off the bat.
But
Okay,
because of who he is, and she knows who he is, and
I mean, she's been. Yeah, is it spoiler to talk about that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
that they're ex-lovers.
No,
Okay.
they're not. He's
Nowhere
like
near-
he's much.
He's over the hill, Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
He's over the hill.
Which I liked. They didn't do a creepy age difference.
He's a grandfather at this point.
Of a love interest or anything.
Yeah,
There was not none of that.
Okay.
Which again, the good thing.
So
about the film.
usually these movies rest on the shoulders of the villains. Now, sadly, we've kind of fallen into the habit of getting an old British dude to be a villain, and sure enough, we get
Brits
Clive
are evil.
Clive Owens. We get Clive Owens to play another bad guy. How is Clive Owens in this movie?
Yeah, he's the one part that really
Falls apart. Is he
apart.
campy?
It could have literally been no, not at all. It just there's no development at all in his role, and I don't find him to be. They describe his character a lot in the film and talk about all the stuff that he's done, but we don't see it as an audience. It's more it's like, don't tell me, show me all this stuff, and we literally don't get shown anything from the character.
Yeah, it just gets described from all these different characters.
He's like he's killed a man with a pencil.
And then exactly. Like seeing maybe like during Children of Men I'd believe it, like okay, this that he could be like evil and or badass or whatever, but in this film it's I'm like, I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, it's Clive Owens. You can't really buy much. I mean, no, he's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
He just doesn't get given good Hollywood roles.
It could have been like any Joe Schmo British person or anyone, really, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, and then finally Benedict Wong. How was he?
Great.
He gets underutilized. I feel like he always gets underutilized.
Oh, he was so funny in this film.
Yeah, he's definitely the comedy relief in this.
And he was much needed in this film. I was happy. That's why I wanted to make sure that you had included him.
Yeah, no, and I forget which was the last movie that I saw him in. He played a much bigger role, but like I feel like he gets super underutilized all the time. Did you care about his character? I'm assuming because he's I mean, no offense, but he probably is a guy who gets killed off pretty fast.
I can't
Spoiler,
say.
But yes, we all know he does.
that is kind of like that is how this film is. It's a nice
predictable movie, right?
It is. It's like, oh, this is the character.
Now Will Smith is the black lead, so you can't kill the black guy first, but you can kill the Asian guy.
But there isn't anything to like predict. It's just.
So what you're saying is, go and enjoy this movie by removing your brain out of your head.
It's an action film that is fun to watch.
Okay. Yeah, if you watch this,
a simple yes would just suffice, Dan.
If you watch this in 3D, you'll be too distracted to
care about the plot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's so that's what I recommend.
All right. Any final words? Because I feel like I've kind of heard it all.
Watch it in 3D and enjoy the action.
Okay.
120 frames per second.
All right. Cool. Is that it?
That really is the action. I have to say though, like the action sequences that are in there are super cool and very convincing. Will Smith fighting himself, like in the action sequences, it looks great.
Is he punching himself?
He is punching himself, and look, yeah. It's just one guy like,
Okay, so
that's why you got to see it.
I don't even know how to judge this movie. Like, watch it. Don't watch it for the plot.
You
watch it for the
visuals.
The visuals, yeah.
It's
great visual pornography. Is what it is.
Sure.
There's not even much of
It's the action.
You're
not much
going
of
to
a
see plot. The action. I would even say it's just two people are hunting each other. That's the plot.
That sounds like pornography.
It isn't even like, but even that like it isn't like. It's the execution. It's not necessarily the plot. I think it's the execution of it. Like they spent all the time in the show is the fact that Will Smith is fighting himself. That's it. Everything else is just like placeholders till you get to the point where Will Smith is fighting himself. And that's all it is. It's like, when is he going to fight himself again? Oh, he's fighting himself again. Okay. All right. Now, how long do I have to wait till he fights himself again? Oh, he's fighting himself. And but each time he's fighting himself, it's great.
Could we not use these visual elements for something better than a movie that's half-assed? Like, right?
Yeah, I agree, but you can argue about that with like a lot of action films. There's like not every action film is going to also have a super amazing plot. Like you can Yeah. We can talk about Ong Bak, or you could talk about The Protector. You're going to see the action. You're not really going to see like where his elephants are. That's not, which is how the film is. Yeah. He's like running from airport to airport. It's like the United States isn't like super tiny.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
But all right. Anyways,
I'll give my rating of Dine In.
Yes!
Only if you've got $1 billion. If you have a lot of money to spend and don't want to stay up in the heat, then go ahead and buy yourself a $25 ticket.
No.
$35 ticket.
Don't do that.
Would you say 4DX this?
No, get A-list from AMC, A-list stubs, and
then
enroll yourself.
And have the 3D movie be one of your 12 films that you can watch for that month.
Okay, we're not getting paid by them, so I need you guys to stop.
No, I'm just saying.
That's true. 12 films a month, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, guys, we're not getting paid by them.
That is fantastic. Where do I sign up, Dan?
And I had 10,000 points, and I got $10 off concessions today.
So you're saying you saw Gemini Man for only $15.
All right, we're going to cut right now. Oh, put that down. Put that down, please. Good grief.
Sponsored by 7-Eleven.
All right, I'm going to give the hosting duties back to Dan so he can actually take some responsibility here.
Thank you so much, Z, for hosting.
You're not welcome.
And I guess we never really gave a rating for El Camino, so I guess it'll be a takeout because it was 2 against 1.
2 against 1, yeah.
And Gemini Man is a dine-in for the action and the 3D aspect of it. So go watch it. We highly recommend it.
Slightly disappointed.
And that will do it for us here at Movie Menu Podcast, Movie Menu Reviews. Thank you so much. Make sure to check out our website, moviemenupodcast.com. Follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you are already following us, thank you so much. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. YouTube channel as well. Thank you guys so much again. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz. Until next time, we say goodbye.
See you later.
2, 3, 4.